Okay. Okay, I'm going to call to order the Okeechobee Utility Authority Board of Director meeting for October 11th, 2021. It's 8:30 a.m. Can I get everybody to please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Never gets old.
Never gets.
Never gets old.
And of determination of voting members, Ms. Anderson?
Present.
Mr. Clay?
Here.
Mr. Griesman's here, Mr. Fadley?
Here.
Mr. Moldenhauer? Mr. Nelson? Ms. Trent? Mr. Snyder? We do have a quorum, and Mr. Nelson's on his way.
I'm voting? Oh, we're in trouble now.
Until.
Unless he
But-
flashes in the door.
All right, hope he'll show up. Y'all don't want me voting. Yeah.
Moving on to agenda item number 2, meeting minutes from September 13th, 2021.
I make a motion we accept as written.
Motion, Mr. Clay.
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Anderson. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Agenda item number 3, employee recognition. Mr. Jenkins, are you here? I knew you were. Please join me in the front, sir. You don't carry a wallet? We'll see you next month. Buddy, on behalf of the staff and Okeechobee Utility Authority Board of Directors, we appreciate your 15 years of service, and we're going to give you a certificate in recognition of 15 years of service as an employee of Okeechobee Utility Authority, presented this 11th day of October 2021, and along with that comes a check, and we'll lunch anywhere you want, my friend.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Josh.
15 years. Good job, Mr. Creaser.
Good, sir.
John's getting good at that, by the way.
It's the fun part. Okay, agenda item number 4, which is our consent agenda. Any board member like to pull any items?
I thought you said you had a bunch you wanted to be.
But mine's mainly for question, and I think we can do it without pulling them. Any board member want to pull any items? Okay. I just have some questions. Again, a lot of these invoices that Sumner Engineering is submitting, it's hard to figure out what Part B and C is for me. I don't know if other board members are having that, because we have 1, 2, and 3 on our projects, and some of them are designated what they are, but some are not. So I don't know what the payment is for. Can we clean that up a little bit?
Mr. Chairman, what we'll do is we'll add a statement on the consent agenda item, what Part B is and what Part C. They all
That-
pertain to the contracts that were signed in the task order. But we'll add that to this so that it clears it up.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of them are for the Oak Circle part, or the Oak Lake Estates and other things, but there was a couple without any definition. And that being said, like items 7, 8, and 12 are for the Oak Lake Estates. Are we going to be submitting that for the county, or 50/50 reimbursement on those?
The only part that we can submit to the county is that related to the stormwater portion of the work. The wastewater portion of the work would then go towards the state appropriation.
Okay, so
For us.
this is just our engineer. They had their own engineer?
They had their own engineer, but it all comes through us because we, as the OUA, actually have the contract with the contractor. The engineering for the stormwater will go to the county. That doesn't come to us.
I wasn't aware that they had their own engineering firm. I
Yes, sir.
apologize.
Culpeper and Turpinning.
Pepper Turpinning. Okay, thank you. That clears up everything I have. Any other items that board members would like to pull? Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion to,
Go ahead.
motion to accept the consent agenda as
Motion, Mr. Nelson.
Second.
Second, Mr. Clay. Further discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going to jump all the way down to 17?
Yes.
And in my notes, I don't know if yours say the same thing, this is titled in the consent agenda?
It
see
says,
that?
it says the consent agenda, but I just went
17.
off the number.
Okay, 17 and 18 are listed in our consent agenda, Mr. Hayford.
17 and 18?
They weren't on the original consent agenda, but they're titled consent agenda.
Right, there should be a separate piece of paper this morning that got rid of the item consent agenda as a Nothing changes in the text, it's no longer listed as consent agenda. It is the regular agenda.
Very good, very good, very good. 18 is also that way, by the way. All right, agenda item number 17, the Southwest Fifth Avenue Gravity Sewer Replacement. Mr. Hayford?
We have a project that is just here on Southwest Fifth Avenue, where there is a service lateral crossing Southwest Fifth Avenue. There is some new construction going on that property, and we went ahead and cleaned and televised the lateral to check its condition, and it is in a state of disrepair. We got a quote for lining and doing point repairs on that lateral, and we got a quote for total replacement. It is from staff's opinion that since the pricing is, where the lining was $14,500, total replacement is $21,480, or a difference of about $7,000. It is a recommendation of staff that we could just go ahead and spend the extra $7,000 and totally replace the piping under Southwest Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes better sense.
yeah.
Economically.
No sense in patching it.
Well, the lining, of course, takes away some of the flow area of the pipe, and you really haven't fixed the pipe. You've sealed it.
And you can't, all you can do is look at, through a camera and see, you know, it's not like putting a brand-new pipe in the ground. You can only see the inside core that they put in. You don't know how thick it is, or I'd put a new pipe in.
Better off.
Form of a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Clay,
Second.
second. Mr. Nelson, any further discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Agenda item number 18, proposed water main improvement for Conard Gable. John?
Mr. Chairman and board members, at a previous meeting back in July, there was a request by a resident to have a water main extended. That would be the yellow portion in the diagram. Since then, we sent out letters to some of the other members in the community, asking them if they were interested in water service. Because sure as we start putting in a water main, we're gonna get questions, is it coming to my house, or is it being extended? So we sent out the letters. Of the letters, they were asked to respond whether favorable or not. But if they chose not to respond, it was assumed that they would be not favorable for the water main extension. They would not connect in. You can see the 3 white squares of folks that have said that they would connect in if we put it in. So there is a cost associated with that line extension. It raises the price to, I'm trying to look through my notes here. $81,000, I believe, which is obviously an exceedance of what was originally committed. And so the question to the board, would this $81,000 be reasonable to fulfill the service in this area, bring on an additional 3 new customers at least from the start, with more later, provide fire protection? What's the board's pleasure?
What's staff recommendation?
Pipe is in the ground, and then later on, everybody else can hook up.
Do you have a recommendation, sir?
You know, it's a situation, I would say, yes, it is worth it to bring in piping. The problem is, it's $81,000. At the very least, if we did Southwest 35th Terrace, it'd be considerably less addition, and you bring in the 2 customers. but, you know, we're good either way.
My thoughts being, because I'm familiar with the area somewhat, it is a low area. They do have drainage problems over there. Down the road somewhere, we're looking at Treasure Island, and that force main's going to be coming through that area. If we already have these people as water customers, it might be easier to get them as wastewater customers. So I think personally, would be worth the expense now to make it available, and hopefully get more people to fall in, where down the road it would help us with the wastewater part of it. It's just my thoughts. 'Cause the people I know over there are fed up with the drainage and their septic tanks being pumped. I can relate to a lot of that.
I think that what you're trying to do infill in this community, and these little old projects like this, yeah, they sting, but for the long run, it shows us putting forth an effort at our expense, pretty much, you know, to get these folks to try to get service in areas. I mean, because you look at, I think the next one's Basswood, isn't it?
There's two in Basswood,
Yeah, so I mean,
At least the pipe is in the ground.
the pipe's in the ground, and we know Connor Gables is gonna continue to grow. It's not gonna just stop, and it's them and Basswood's probably the two most affordable lots, buildable lots in Okeechobee right now.
This could spur growth too.
It could spur growth.
I,
I just think
I think it's an investment. It's more like an
It
investment.
is an investment. That's a good term for it. I just, you know, I think, again, it does hurt,
But it'll pay off in the future, I believe.
but we're laying the groundwork for the next group.
Is-
Yeah,
Can we afford it?
yeah,
Well, there's money set aside in the budget for water main construction, and this falls within that category, so there is money set aside for this. It's October 11th, and we have a few more days left in this budget year. That's the only stinging part, that we have the rest of the year to go, but we do have money set aside for water main construction.
I'd like to table this till November.
September 29th, sir, if we could, so that,
That's for budget purposes.
you know, the,
Positives, but a better question would be, what would be a negative to doing it? Anything?
well, there really isn't anything negative. The positive is that if any of these people that said no or didn't answer, if the water main is in, it's very easy to connect them once it's in play. If we don't do any of the red piping, and then somebody comes back and says, well, I really want it, we're back to the same boat of trying to extend it and piecemeal our system. So we've run into that before in other areas where we put in a 2-inch extension, and then several months later, somebody comes in and says, well, I want it, and then I want it, and we go back and have to run a 6-inch water main because we got too much 2-inch water main. So we've done that practice in the past, and found out it's not necessarily a wise maneuver. Plan for the future and put it in.
So you answered your own question.
yeah.
Go for it.
And not only that, but the fire hydrants, by
Yeah.
putting in the bigger pipe, and
Add value to the land now.
adds value. It's a tax deal. But another thing that we don't know, and probably won't happen while we're sitting on this board, but eventually, people with access will have to hook up to water and to sewer. Eventually, it's coming.
And they should.
You know, so
John, how many letters went out? Just rough, approximately.
Probably 12, 13 letters, maybe.
Not that many people over there right now.
We did not send them to, obviously, the vacant lots.
Right.
Every existing home got a letter. Like I said, we didn't get a great return, only 3. So that'll be a total of 4 on this whole system when it's constructed. But like I said, once you get it there and you go through an event, let's say it's a storm, nobody has power, a few of your neighbors have all the water in the world, and you gotta go hook your generator up to a well pump to get water, it tends to change people. Or, did you get salt for the system? No, I thought you know, so there's just issues. with a private water system that if the OUA water's available, they may see the light and join in.
Have
at
we
a later
tried to
date.
contact them by phone?
Sir?
Have we tried to contact those
No,
individuals?
sir. Send a letter.
But you look
Letter
at,
only.
we've already approved this block here.
The yellow.
Yeah, this is already approved. We're looking at putting, a feeder here over to here. But
It's an investment in the future.
it is, and it gets us just more, it's more infill.
John, I have a question. I think it justifies an answer because we're discussing it now. When we if we install this line in front of these people's house, are they deemed at that point for the base charge because it's accessible?
Generally, no, we don't do that.
Being devil's
I
advocate
can
here.
tell you that from a board policy standpoint, on the wastewater side, when we put in a wastewater line, has been a policy established that if they don't connect, we charge them a base charge
But not
on
water.
the wastewater. Water has never been addressed.
Thank you.
You had 3 people that say they'll do it. Probably by the time you're done, there could be 2 or 3 more.
Right.
If they're like me, there's a tile of mail on my counter this time that I haven't even read yet, and that could be in there.
But, John, you said you'd like to table it till when?
We were being facetious.
Okay.
My only comment there, we're 11 days into a new budget year. You hate, at least from a standpoint of finances, I'll answer for George, spending a vast sum of the money set aside for water main this early is always something that you wish you could do in September at the end of the budget year when you have the money there. But this is a very good project. It does bring on 3 new customers and makes it available for 7 or 8 more customers.
Well, you do that, you got another $22,000 to approve below it, so
Right.
it's a $100,000 deal. We do all 3. Am I missing that?
Nope, that's the total, yes, sir.
From the aerial photo you've sent, it doesn't look like there's any obstacles there that we're going to require to get any easements or surveying or anything, basically. Is there no county easement with the roads and the right-of-ways?
Well, yes, sir, we would probably still survey it in, if for no other reason, then we can survey the as-built condition of where our water main is to add it to our maps. As far as easements, no, we're all within the county right-of-way. The only other, if you want to call it an obstacle that we'll deal with is driveways, but we can deal with driveways.
That's part of it, yeah. Okay. All right. Any further discussion on it? Somebody pull the trigger.
I make a motion that we move forward with proposed water main improvements in Connor Gables to the cost of $81,200.
Motion by Mr. Clay.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Any further discussion on the motion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 19, proposed Northwest 37th Avenue water main improvements in Basswood. Mr. Hayford?
Second of 3 water main improvements. This is for a property owner at 3966 Northwest 37th Avenue. Again, it's the blue area in the agenda item, which is an extension of the 6-inch water main that we've already put into service of those 2 houses. The resident has requested service to the tune of $11,000, and as in the last proposal, it is to bring on board 1 new customer. Their fees, their charges would be the normal and customary fees for connecting in, water meter installation and capital connection charge, no AGRC, and the construction cost of $11,000 is proposed to be borne by the OUA.
And if you look, look at the lots that are empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. on the left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this right side, so. And it gives us, takes us all the way to the end of that road, don't it, John?
Yes, sir.
Looks like there's only 3 residents past the existing.
Well, one of the 3 said yeah. We haven't contacted, and this is one of the instances we did not send letters to the other 2. So they may or may not connect in. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a total of 5 vacant lots on that extension that could possibly connect once construction is ever proposed for those lots.
Is a 2-inch adequate to serve that street if,
For that section, yes, sir.
is that existing already a 6-inch?
6-inch with a fire hydrant, yes, sir.
John, this is where the county really needs to step up. We're doing these efforts to do these things. You know, it ought to be mandatory that when they build, you have to hook up if it's in front, whether it's water or sewer. And because it's $11,000. It's not a terrible amount of money, but still, and you get everybody on that road hooked up, we recoup our money pretty quick. And I can tell you right now, the water out there is the most horrendous water in Okeechobee County.
Yeah, it is. It's bad.
Yeah. My mother lived out there, and we spent a ton on her water system, and you still didn't drink it.
That ought to be a part of the issuance of the construction permit.
Yes.
Is public water available? And if so, it's required that you hook up, not a well. I mean, you put a well in if you want to, but still, that's back in the building department process.
And I do believe they do check with us on a lot of these. And we sign off that water and sewer whether or not water or sewer is available. The problem that we have with these 3 existing homes in this area, while the land development regulations say they shall connect, nobody has forced the connection of an
Correct.
existing home.
There's no enforcement.
Right. That's the problem.
Well, that's got to be our rallying cry, because we're spending money to make this possible.
Both the city council and the county BOCC are aware of it, but for whatever reason, again, they have to be able to enforce that land development regulation for connection of existing homes.
Well, hindsight's good. At the last meeting, I don't know when there'll be another one to talk about the agreement. That would have been a good topic to bring up with the city and the county fathers.
We are invited monthly to come over and address both boards, and it can be addressed at those points. Last few months, it was brought up at a BOCC meeting about this, and they kicked it around. And they came up with some options, that they would turn it over to,
Buck passing.
I'll pass the buck.
to their department, that code enforcement, and then they give them 12 months after we send a letter, and this was over in Whispering Pines, wasn't it? But they would do that, and then after that, then they could start assessing penalty if they didn't. But all this was talk at a meeting. Haven't seen anything in writing from it.
Well, code enforcement is limited by the authority that's granted to them.
Right around this community and see how much authority code enforcement has.
It's selective. Selective enforcement.
The discussion's been there, and we've never seen anything come out in writing.
But at the end of the day, we're doing our part.
Right.
When everybody else is not. And that's not why I'm here, is to be that political side. I think this is for the betterment of the community and the people who live here. And again, I know what the water's like out there, and it is atrocious. So I think anytime that we can do these infills, especially as much as we've been doing out there,
One street at a time, sir.
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, this has been a 6 or 7 year project that we've been getting a couple a year, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So,
I can't believe with the condition of the water, why they wouldn't hook it up anyhow if it's available.
Well, if they spend $5,000 on their water system, then they don't feel like turning around
the
and
problem-
ditching it, you know?
we spent over that on my mom's.
Yeah, I know it.
But to maintain it I mean, yeah, that first year, you're good. Then that next year, where that water was so bad, you're changing out carbon filters and everything
that's
else,
right.
you know, so.
Well, you're eliminating the headache. I mean, the system is costly to, like you say.
I think we have to stay the plan that we really haven't put this in a plan for us to say, but we've been,
It's another investment for me.
it's just investment in our future, and this one's 11 and the next one's 11. I know George is over there going, all right, where am I gonna get my money moved around at? But I think these are the kind of things we have to do for the health of our community.
Agreed.
I make a motion that we do the proposed Northwest 37th Avenue wastewater, or, I'm sorry, water main improvements in Basswood. Where's the price at? Right there. To the estimated cost of $11,000.
Motion by Mr. Clay,
So second.
second by Mr. Nelson. Further discussion on the motion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
And again, just to clarify, that would be the construction at no cost to the owner.
Yes.
Except for their normal fees for
Normal
connecting.
fees, yeah.
Okay.
I think we do the same thing on the next one.
Agenda item 20, proposed Northwest 26th Avenue water main improvements, Basswood. John?
Same as the previous one, except for this is the closer element to Northwest 36th Street, where typically we install a 6-inch water main to be able to provide the fire protection down the necessary distance to go that last 500 feet as a 2-inch water main. What you have here in front of you is the cost again for a 2-inch water main. And if we were to go back 10, 12 years ago, we would put in the 2-inch only to go back and replace it later with a larger diameter. However, it was one person, the address 3747 Northwest 26th Avenue, requesting the service. We did not send out letters to the person across the street. It is certainly, if you want to go with a 2-inch, it's another 11,000 because it's the same distance. However, I would certainly propose and suggest that we go that extra cost and put in a 6-inch water main with fire hydrant at the end for preparation of extending this down Northwest 26th Avenue at some later date.
I think you have to stay with what you're doing, John, where you're taking that 500 feet in. Is that what you're doing? Yeah, 500
I
linear
have to
feet
go the
in.
distance. We go far enough to where we allow 500 feet as the terminal ends.
And
So-
put a fire hydrant.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, that definitely looks like a more dense area. Looks like more homes
Yeah.
in that area,
Yeah.
so there's a better chance of gaining customers.
And the people on that street, once that fire hydrant goes in, they can go back to their insurance
Insurance
company.
I've got a
Cost for
question.
that.
On the main that goes up and down through Basswood, are there stub outs already at those block intersections, for each block in
There
the
is.
existing main?
There is supposed to, and if there is, that's what we tie into.
Because it would, look to me like that would only make sense when the main's put in, to put the ability to tie in as you go.
They did put in stub outs. Unfortunately, they didn't put a lot of valves that would be able to seal it off for us to be able to facilitate the tie-in, but there are stub outs.
I was thinking
You might as well just, you do the stub out.
that helped with disruption, but we're not going anywhere. We're not gaining anything there, are we?
John, what do you think the cost of the 6 inch is gonna be over the,
Taking too
Give him
long.
a moment.
His calculator's running.
Yep. One in his hand, one in his mind, both of them are going.
You gotta dig the same hole, it's just cost a pipe.
Okay. I'm gonna guess it would be almost double. 22,000.
But it gets us a fire hydrant in there, and then from that point on, we go back to the 2-inch, just like the other streets.
Well, if we ever had to extend it, we're gonna go back and spend that 22,000
Anyway.
anyway to put in a 6-inch one.
Right. All right, I make a motion that on the Northwest 26th Avenue water main improvements in Basswood, that instead of doing a 2-inch line, we do a 6-inch line at an approximate cost of $22,000.
Motion by Mr. Clay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nelson. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 21, Oak Lake Estates change order. Mr. Hayford?
Can I ask one quick
Yes.
question before we go?
Yes.
John,
Sir.
eventually, do we need to loop these things around the ends of these blocks to make it work better?
My recommendation would be no.
Okay.
Because you want to make, in general, the answer is no. The reason why you want to make sure that the customers at the end actually do use the water, and if they loop around, the only benefit that would be is if you had to close a valve, say at the halfway point, because there was something wrong on the 6-inch, then those people wouldn't be without service.
I got you.
But from a maintenance standpoint, we're most likely better off just to leave them at that far end with customers on the end using the water.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. No, that's a good question, good question. Again, agenda item number 21, Oak Lake Estate change order. John?
Chairman and board members, what you have here, there is, this is a change order for the Oak Lake Estates project. Just to refresh your memory, this is a project where the OUA took as a lead agency, a combined project that had both stormwater and wastewater elements in it. The wastewater was deemed to be a little more involved for whatever the reason, and so we elected to take the lead on this project with the county taking care of the stormwater portion as far as the financial obligation. And that's why you had the pay request earlier in the discussions on reimbursement. The project is over on time, been over on time for a while, primarily due to, as you can see in the attachments, weather delays and COVID-19 delays. Clearly, the contract documents allow for the pandemic-related COVID as conditions outside the control of the contractor. The weather delays, as dependent upon the significance of how big the rains are, those too can be outside the realm or control of the contractor. Contractor submitted a request for a lot of days. Both the stormwater engineer, Culpeper and Turpinning, and the wastewater engineer, Sumner Engineering, have looked at it, reviewed their request, and have tentatively agreed to a total of 52 days to add to their contract time. The question that I had also posed to both engineering staffs were, if we are to approve the contract extension, will there also be a contract extension and money involved in the engineering aspect? And they both agreed that they could still complete the project under their original contracted price. Obviously, the time isn't an issue with that engineering side, but their pricing would stay the same. So in your board package is the letter from the engineer reflecting what the requests were for time and the amount proposed, as well as in our board package, it says change order number 2, but this is actually change order number 1. Change order number 1 is for time only, not dollars to the contract price. I would also propose that you do this as a conditional approval if you're so inclined to approve it. The BOCC will address this same issue tomorrow so that they're aware of the contract time for Oak Lake Estates. It's my understanding that the BOCC, I know they're aware of it, and I think they are looking at this as a favorable change order, but I would only make the approval of this change order conditional on BOCC positive action also.
We're dealing with the same contractor, right?
ERP Construction Group, yes, sir.
Even if we did approve it without being contingent on the BOCC, they could go ahead and override it and not, so it would just,
No, sir, you're the one that has the contract with PRP. You have to be able to be the agency. You have the contract with them, so you can approve it or not. It's just that because a lot of this is dealing with stormwater, you know, the why we're doing this project, and the rain, that it certainly would be, it's certainly approval of the BOCC so that they're aware of this contract time also.
I wished it was, I wished it had come before the county first.
right?
You know, it's out of kilter. I wish the county had already approved on this. You never know what they're gonna do.
Well, I guess if we make it concurrent,
You
Contingent.
make it conditional.
contingent, I mean,
Yes, sir.
concurrent, yeah. We,
That's unusual to do it that way, but,
Well, conceive, I mean, again, you have the contract with
True.
the contractor. It's just a,
Courtesy.
it's a touch that we'd like to have, that the BOC is aware of this, and it is an agreement. And I do not really, I didn't want to wait another 30 days to bring it back, because the contract's gonna be done by then.
So we need to make a motion to accept this,
approve.
to approve this contingent upon the Board of County Commissioners are also approving it. Correct?
That's what I think.
So said.
motion, Mr. Clay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nelson. Any further discussion?
Let me ask a question. What's the harm in the additional 30 days?
There is no harm, but the project will be done by then. So you're actually gonna end up with still a change order, but it'll be that reconciliation change order, for time and dollars at the end of the project. From the standpoint
good.
from the standpoint of our perspective, and I know certainly for PRP, this whole liquidated damages of 52 days, we would like it to be gone. They're still gonna be in liquidated damages because they're not done with the project and they're trying to wrap it up, but it's not gonna be to the tune of 52 days.
If we get another 3.5 inches of rain this week.
What happens if the Board of County Commissioners said no? We've made our approval contingent on them saying yes.
That's right, and so it would not move forward.
Further discussion?
Hey, Tom, did you have another question?
No, it's just awkward to do it this way, because it's still up in the air and you won't know until,
Tomorrow.
We still could pull it and wait to hear them and
Well, you-
delay it
you-
30
you
days.
do not have to take action
That's
today.
the option. We
But
can
in
do it.
30 days, you're gonna be going back doing a reconciliation because they're gonna continue to go.
We're going to have another time request by then, almost certain.
Jeff, yeah, what's your input on,
I agree with you that it's a little bit of an awkward thing because the BOCC technically isn't party to the
I'd rather they have already acted on it and come to us. I mean,
It's a courtesy, it's a nod to them as a participant in the overall project.
yeah, because I would like everything in order when it comes to us. I'd like everything done, and then we take action, it's over with. If we go ahead and approve it, period, we're stepping on the county's toes. Here we go. So,
By the same token, if we're recommending approval and the board is positive to that, the county would kind of be stepping on this board's toes if they deny.
Well, they don't
even
mind-
though- And frankly, most of the delays are stormwater related, so they're mostly on their side, other than the weather delays.
But, and let me at least make sure you're aware of this, Tom. The BOCC can't approve or not approve.
I understand that.
This is truly just an issue between the OUA board that has the contract with PRP. The idea that we're doing it contingent upon the BOCC is only a matter of, if you will, of convenience, trying to help for them to say yes or no on the stormwater portion, but it's really, as you're well aware, the legality between the contract of this board and PRP.
But it's taken us forever to get the county to work with us on projects.
And the project has gone very, very good.
Right,
We
so-
just had this issue of COVID holding up
Yeah.
trucking and delivery, and Mother Nature, when she decides the rain dumps 6 inches on the neighborhood, which clearly is going to cause construction-related problems for weeks.
I think it's just a nod to them saying, hey, we want to approve this, but we're including you on this because this is a partnership. And we want to.
Both engineers have recommended approval on this. County engineer,
Correct. And I'm not sure what action the BOCC would actually take.
I mean, at this point, it'd just be advising the county that this has been granted. We're the primary contractor. But I don't know that they accept it.
I don't know how they'll.
Right. That's,
I think you worded it correctly with contingent upon their approval.
Yeah, I think so too. And that cleans it off of y'all's books for now, and it cleans it off of PRP's books, so they're not sitting there looking at that 52 days of liquidated damages.
Provided the BOCC, because we wouldn't really execute this change order until Wednesday.
well, in a way, we're dealing with county money on that.
Now, there's
If it's stormwater related,
But
there's PRP money, but no county money or OUA.
it's not a change order for dollars.
I have no problem with you doing, I have a problem, but it's a psychological problem, I guess, more than. So yes, go ahead, contingent on. Go ahead and
Cart and horse problem.
Come
Go ahead and
let's
act
get
on
this
it.
done before we change.
All right, any further discussion? Being none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And thanks, Tom.
Really, I just wanted to talk it out. I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
Don't be sorry.
No, that's why you're here.
Agenda item number 22, any public comment? Thank you. 23, Mr. Conley?
I don't know that I've got anything,
That's a great thing.
let's see, what, no problem with a mobile home park. I can't think of any, John, you looked at me funny. Is there anything I'm not,
We're good,
No lawsuits, no nothing.
please.
haven't been
I'm looking
served?
for the rain cloud now. You said that.
It's just unheard of to be somewhere that somebody's not being sued.
Well, we got a couple freedom of
First time
information
I've
requests.
said here that he's not.
Don't,
talking about somebody suing us.
All right, agenda item number 24 from the executive director.
Just what's there on the board package, I can easily go through it. There's been, the construction projects are moving along. We will have to deal with, we had a small water main project to move our water main out of the way of a DOT contractor on 441 Southeast down near the blinking light. We thought we had it worked out with DOT, that the contractor, the drainage contractor would lower their facilities to miss our water main. Somehow between DOT and the contractor, they weren't on the same page, so now we're gonna have to move our water main. It's okay, it was in our project, we were hoping not to have to go to that expense, but I will get a proposal from the DOT contractor to move our water main. It'll be to the tune of like $10,000, but we are in the DOT right away at their pleasure, if you will, so if they tell us to move, we have to. The sale of the Gadsden property to the OUA happened. The closing was about a week ago. We have a contract to be signed, and we'll submit those contracts and the earnest money to Okatani to schedule the closing. I'm sorry, let me back up. The city council approved the sale of the property.
You got two projects going at once, John.
Confused. Gadsden property, we had closure, that's a done deal. We had a proposal to the city to buy 3 lots in their Commerce Park that the board approved, OUA board. The city council accepted it, so that contract will go with the earnest money to Okatani to schedule the closing. And we will own those 3 lots on the south side of our well field. So that's happening. The other big news, TJJ has walked away from their contract on the old boys' school property, and it looks like the county is moving forward with a state legislation where they may be able to get the boys' school property given back to Okeechobee County, of which we're a part of that because we have 400 acres under lease with the state. It's my understanding that that property is included in the give back, which then hopefully the county will feed over a portion to us so that we will own the 400 acres out at the wastewater plant.
They're working hard to get that back.
We've been to several meetings, met with the county, interested parties, the state about 10 days ago, and that's, I think, the agreement that they worked out. Because the Water Management District was trying to jump ahead of the county to get the property, and I think they've agreed to let the county take the lead, get the property, and then maybe some of that go to the Water Management District. So it's many months down the road, 6, 9 months before we get to the end of it, but that's where we're headed with it.
How
Well,
many,
it came from the county anyhow.
Sir?
yeah,
County,
the
actually,
county bought it from Mr.
County.
Williamson
correct,
and give it to the state.
correct.
With the intent that it would be a school for boys for technical, education.
It was an education.
And since the state is no longer using it as a school for the boys, the county is requesting that it should come back to the county. So we'll see.
Should.
Well, it ought to be.
Yeah.
So we have had the interlocal agreement meetings, we've had EOCC meetings, city council. We're just trying to make sure that those lines of communication between the governmental agencies is open, clear, and free flowing. So other than that, I'll answer any questions if there's any.
Not for you, but I have one to come back to if I could.
Go ahead, sir.
We still have a problem up there on the Beatty. How many feet across that thing is it, 122 feet or what? I don't have the survey in mind. We wanted to be able, the way the easement is worded right now is for a single sewer main. John is wanting to be able to put a water main as well as a sewer main. I have sent the survey and the request to be able to put language in the easement to include a water main. Well, an eruption has occurred. They've got to think about it. And they've also got to get some trust documents prepared to put in the public records here to show authority of who the trustee is and the trustee's authority. Because we know Pete Beatty has died. There's nothing in the records about that. So, and I sent this, John, I gave you a copy of that. Anyhow, I sent it back to the attorney 2 weeks ago, whenever the survey was completed. So here we are again, we're sitting here waiting for something from them.
Any way around it?
I mean, we're up to the highway, and we're trying to stay on this side of the highway and run it up and,
Because of the depth we have to be for the crossing under State Road 70, to do that work in the right of way, entirely in the right of way, it's just really, really tight. We've got room on the north side of the road because we.
well, you know they're gonna be,
County road right of way.
you know they're gonna do something on 70.
It's just, it's unusual. Yeah, that's the other thing. At some point,
Y-
if we put it in the DOT right of way, we're gonna have to move it as soon as DOT decides to do any road widening. Whenever that may be.
I'm just asking, because I know some other dealings going on with some properties owned by the,
To have a utility easement that specifies the number of.
Yeah, a single sewer line. Well, that to me, that's what we wanted, so.
That's their way to come back and just ask for more money.
Right, that's right. Because you know eventually you're gonna be running a water line
But a
down.
water main there can only benefit that property. That's the frustrating.
it's,
I agree, if there was, if there was a way to avoid it,
who is the trustee of, who ended up being the trustee? Or has one been appointed?
maybe the son, one of the son, maybe, I don't know, I have no idea. But they're gonna face that
Two of those
anyhow.
boys,
so-
right? Two of those boys left, right?
Yeah, we've been dealing with Steve, but I don't know that I can say for certain that he's the trustee.
See, I don't know who the trustee is. So I didn't mean to kick the pumpkin, but it's got to be addressed anyhow, so. The trust lawyer's got to do the documents, but I have not heard a word. I'm frustrated when I can't deal with people that you can't get them to move. We've done our part. You've approved the payment, so whether they're gonna come back and ask for one, who knows? Anyhow,
If there's not an immediate need to put a water main in, then they can find that later.
Well, I mean, but again, the water main, there's not an immediate need, but you're buying a 20-foot wide easement. It's just kind of silly that it's gonna be limited to only a wastewater pipe. Now, I understand if they want to exclude telephone or powers, I understand that. But for the price, we ought to be able to get our utilities in there. That being said, we have a project to build and construct, and I don't think this should be a long, drawn-out, protracted discussion about water or wastewater. Let's get the easement signed and be done with it. But even if we took the water issue out, we still have the legal issue. So there's a couple things that have to happen here. And we're holding up we're not holding it up yet, but there is the potential to hold up the entire project over this 60 feet of pipe.
And keep in mind, for the water main, there's not really any need right now to extend the force main any further west. But the water main, we're only talking about, because you remember, their property is split by that district right of way.
Correct.
So there's a longer piece of their property to the west.
Yes.
Right of way that we haven't talked about. at all.
again, that's a future.
Wouldn't be much of a water main extension.
It's not much of a force main extension either. It's like 60 feet. But the deal is, when they wrote up the document and they excluded everything except one wastewater force main, I had to raise my hand and say, well, why is it only a wastewater force main? And then we got into the trust issues that is something
That's
much
a
bigger.
legal issue, but it's there. I mean,
So we're ongoing working with acquiring an easement on that portion of the project.
well, you ask about options. I don't know what the difficulty is, the cost in the future. It's a double cost if we put it in the right of way.
It is, and it's more expensive to put it in now.
But it is, if we don't get this language cleared up, history tells us that we're gonna have to buy that other pipe. We wanna put if we wanna put water in the ground there, we're gonna have to buy it again.
The beauty of it is, if they needed it, maybe not, maybe they would give it to us, but right now, they don't need either one of
And
them.
they own everything, I mean, they've got, just in Okeechobee County, what, 20,000 acres, 18,000 acres?
Oh, no, yeah, all that up,
18,800 in one piece.
you're only talking about peanuts to them. I mean, it's a drop in the bucket.
So, I mean, by the time they get back to this piece, when they've got 14,000, then they got another, I don't know what's at the old hog farm, gotta be 2,500 anyway.
Yeah, but none of that is readily developable.
No, but it's sellable. Yeah, but all that's sellable.
And you're improving the property. The value of the property is, this is a bonus for that property to have this line there. Anyhow, I'm frustrated. I can't get that, and I can't remember the length. It's not,
It's not very long. It's,
no. I'm sorry I don't have the survey to show to you.
But this is why we pay you every month.
Anyhow, we're trying. Ball's in their court right this minute.
Yeah,
Keep us informed. That's all we can do.
Mr. Pete couldn't have lived a little longer. We got this done.
All right. Anything else, John?
Yes, sir, unless y'all have a question on anything going on?
Counselor, you good? Ready to move forward? Good.
Yes, sir.
Agenda number 25, items from the board. Anybody have any items for the board?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
John, just our discussion, just like to make sure that all our vehicles have the necessary safety lights on them, just to make sure that our people are well protected. I came down my street and the sun was shining into my vehicle. It was an OUA truck in front. And the employee was very smart. He had his blinkers on, but we didn't have the necessary flashes on the vehicle. Sometimes if the vehicle, when they're checking the meters, whatever, the sun is in the opposite direction. I just want to make sure that all our vehicles have the necessary safety lights and equipment, flashes, whatever it might be, that's all.
I know in the front they all do, don't they?
No,
They have them up high, up by in the windshield,
Yeah.
which, from the sun perspective, Mr. Nelson said it was hard to see.
Yeah.
What he asked about was to put some in the front grille
The grill
or
or the
on the
lights.
outside of the rearview mirrors, which we'll look into.
just for safety factor, that's all. Because coming down that morning, I mean, if somebody could have gone right into the truck by
So
accident.
basically, he's trying to say that he almost hit one of our trucks.
No.
How would that read in the Okeechobee News?
That's, if he hit the wrong way.
Well, they had just read his meter, so I guess we are looking into that.
The insurance rate's down.
I've accepted another position out of state, so, again, I won't be here for November. Jeff's gonna take my place. I'm coming home every other week. I just gotta try to work it out, so, the holidays could be a little difficult, but but
Would it make a difference if if we moved our meetings to the third Monday instead of the second?
it doesn't matter to me, as long as it's a Monday morning, I'll try to lap it into that whatever weekend I'm coming home, and I'll try to adjust my weekends. The
I
only,
don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, these last minute invoices that come in. But I don't know whether it's a disrupt to move it to the third week or not.
The reason I asked John to put this on the board is because from the time we moved our meetings to Monday, we've heard of the hardship it is to get staff, they've got enough to do to get the agendas to us by Monday and the billing and the invoices and all that. And the request was it would be easier on them to go back to Tuesday. That's why I asked to bring it up. Now, there have been three board members that have shown interest to move it back to 10 o'clock. They said 8:30 is just too disruptive when they manage businesses, run businesses. to not be there when the doors open. They want to be there and the doors open, then they can leave and have their businesses up and running and then go back. They said it's just too disruptive, and one of the alternates said that he had court issues on at 8:30 in the morning, which I'm hearing different now, but this is why I put it on there for discussion. But like I said, bankers and lawyers and all that don't like the 8:30 time. They'd like to move it a little bit later, and we've just, that's why it's here. Tuesday for staff, the time for a few board members that it puts a hardship on.
Tuesday, I'll have to step aside. I can't stay till Tuesday, because I'm gonna leave here on Mondays and drive at least 8 hours back to a terminal.
Yeah, I know when I ran my business before I retired, praise the Lord, Monday mornings were tough for me because everything was hitting on Monday mornings and I had staff to deal with and all that. But I'm not supporting it one way or the other. I'm bringing it up for discussion, and so it was just Mondays at 8:30 were terrible on me.
Moving back to 10 wouldn't affect you a great deal, would it? I mean, I know
I
you want
just-
to get out as soon as possible.
I mean, it just puts me, fighting traffic in Jacksonville and everything else at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, do what you guys think you have to do, and I'll do what, I'm not gonna,
I hate to be selfish, but I hate to see you double up on Tuesday, the second Tuesday, because I have school board meetings on the second Tuesday.
I can't be here on Tuesday. I mean, I'd have to.
I'd hate to have to go through two meetings.
What about Fridays?
You know, they're closed, OU is closed.
We always close Friday.
Oh, yeah.
That's another reason. Well, you guys could go back to 5/8 and then you wouldn't have the hardship.
Or take Monday off instead of Friday.
how does staff feel about the 4-day?
Are they in favor or against? Is that what you want to know?
Because, we put it in, it was gonna be a trial, and it's turned into a permanent situation, so.
There you go.
This man is gone every weekend.
Yeah, you don't get a complaint from nobody.
Well, what I will tell you is, the 4 work days is, originally the staff were not sure they wanted to do it. But if I said we were going to 5/8 now, I would probably be the first casualty, because I'd be, you'd find me somewhere.
They like the 4-day.
Yes, sir.
Well, everybody's gotta do what they gotta do. And if it doesn't fit for me, then I'll step aside and let Jeff have it.
Well, Monday works for you anyhow. 'Cause,
Like, morning works for me. I don't wanna be, noon, 1 o'clock getting out of here and having to drive to Charlotte.
Hey, I'm amenable, whatever you guys, don't let me be the stick in the mud here.
We've had a quick meeting today, we're at 9:30. But again, don't let me be the holdup.
How do you feel?
I don't mind Mondays. 8:30 is a little tough sometimes, running a business on Monday morning, coming straight here. But I'd rather do that and have Tommy step aside. He's been certainly one of the more vocal, active members of the board. We'd hate to lose him. I don't think we should change because one alternate.
Well, that's not the only reason.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Not the only reason. There's another absent person that has expressed concerns. They're having type.
Would make a difference if it were 9:30?
But I say split the difference and do 9.
Yeah, move it to 9.
I would.
Yeah, Monday's not a problem. 8:30 is a little tough.
I'm
9 would be
retired.
better
I can
probably.
come at any time. I can do that too.
9 would give me a chance to go to my office, do what I gotta do, make sure everybody showed up, stomp out any fires, then make it here.
And that was the concern of Ms. Trent. It's just impossible. for
9's
her.
fine.
She never catches up through the day when she misses that part in the morning.
I understand.
And you understand.
So, yeah, 9 is even better than 8:30. 8:30 is a little tough. 9 would be a little
Jeff
more.
and I are in the same boat on that because, but it's,
I know originally we moved it to 10 to meet my schedule, and we moved it to Monday to meet Tommy's schedule. I've retired, so I have no schedule. So,
Tommy likes Mondays. If we do it at 9,
here we went.
why not?
That gives y'all 30 more minutes to get the agenda.
That would-
Well, there's not, to me, there's not much of a difference between 8:30 and 9, and we'll meet whatever you want.
That 30 minutes would have helped on a Monday morning.
It would.
We've adapted very well with the invoices that come in. We've acted on them. You know, I don't remember one that we've ever delayed for 30 days, so we've worked around that. Maybe you could tell the vendors to step it up a day.
We've done that from day one, so we still get,
If they're hungry, they will move.
It's not in on time.
it is the board's pleasure whether you want to address the late invoice or not.
But
Exactly.
when you guys bring them up, I mean, it's just, we just pass them on, and I mean, once y'all recommend them, it's budgeted stuff, so
Well, and you're going to see it in 30 days.
you're gonna see it 30 days. I'd rather be the ones that get it paid and, you know, have that reputation of getting things out. But again, I'm not trying to hold y'all hostage. I've got a great deal to do, and I've enjoyed this. I'll do it as long as I can, but if we go to a Tuesday or something, then I'll
Okay,
have to step away.
well, if you moved it to 9 o'clock, that's,
I can do 9 o'clock. We can usually
On
be out
Mondays.
here by 11:30, and that still puts me,
keep the Mondays on.
if I'm loaded and ready, I can make it to get through Jacksonville before that monster hits.
Steve, how's that gonna work with you with having to get a, you good? Ellen, you okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think we all can do it.
Helps-
Harry, you?
Helps Harry.
Yeah.
Fish aren't biting at 9.
No.
So I guess we need to make a motion to move our meetings to Monday at second Monday of the month at 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Motion to move the meetings?
Motion by Mr. Nelson.
Second.
Second, Mr. Clay. Any further discussion, concerns?
Just remind me.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Also, John and I are going to sit down and discuss computers after this meeting.
Hallelujah.
I think we've identified an issue. I did a comparatory with this computer and the $300 one I bought over at Walmart. My processor in the Walmart $300 computer is twice as fast as this
Ready to
one.
turn these in. You ready to turn?
Well, they're 2 years old anyway.
Please,
It's
bring mine.
time to replace them and look at something that will run. I'll give you a for instance. Monday, I went to Alabama. Before I left, I turned the computer on. It was saying, be patient, Windows is doing something, do not turn your computer off. I got home at 3 o'clock on Friday, that same blue screen was up there with the same thing. It was 5 days it sat there and never moved. So, we're gonna discuss that, and maybe that will get your agendas to us in a timely fashion, because I know if I start mine on Friday, I usually don't get it till Saturday.
John's got a shocked look on his face over there.
Good.
No, we're fine. I mean,
It's only dollars.
Your computer always works, John.
Hers?
Yours.
Yeah, you can see. I like mine. I like paper.
I do.
But the deal is, keep in mind, the laptop's only one of the issues. Certainly ISP or your service at the house also factors into it. But they are 2 years old, so we'll see what we can do.
The internet service provider is definitely an issue, but when you can't boot your computer up and it's doing updates for hours and hours, that has nothing to do with your ISP.
You have trouble with
So
yours?
processor. That's garbage.
GoDaddy did have a problem.
Except for today.
I don't even use the thing. As a matter of fact, it comes in on my
12-year-old
desktop, so I can do what I got.
And it's running Windows XP.
That's probably why. It's the operating
I mean,
Except
I've
it's
got
not
great
supported
internet at home.
Do too. Okay, well, we'll be discussing that after the meeting and deciding what we're gonna do. And hopefully by next month, we can all be back online with new computers, because these are old. These are time to be retired anyway.
Well, these have struggled from day one.
Yes, they have. I think we played, you've got my old one, I've got somebody else's old one. We've shifted them all around.
Yeah, the next time we have to turn them in, put my name on mine.
My name came with.
Need a Sharpie.
Yours didn't?
You know what, Harry? You say that, I don't know.
Any other items from the board?
There you go.
Yeah, but somebody's toyed with it.
I'd already talked about the computer.
Being no other business coming for the board, I say we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.